You want success? Then stop hitting snooze on your life. Success doesn't start when the sun is high, your inbox is full, and the world is already 5 steps ahead of you. It begins in the silence. Before the noise, before the chaos, before the distractions. It begins with you. And it begins every morning. The difference between people who talk about success and those who live it. A disciplined, intentional, non-negotiable morning routine. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And your habits are built at dawn. You want success? Then you have to start treating your mornings like the launch pad of your life, not the leftover minutes of someone else's schedule. Most people don't lose the day at 2 p.m. They lose it the moment they wake up, and they don't even realize it. The battle for your future isn't happening at that big meeting next week. It's not in the next job interview or investor call. It's happening right now, in the quiet, in the darkness, in that sacred space between your alarm going off and your decision to rise. That's the war. And if you don't show up with fire, discipline, and ownership, you've already surrendered. You cannot claim to want greatness while treating your mornings like a joke. You cannot demand more from life and offer it your laziness in return. Think about the first 10 minutes of your day. How you wake up is how you live. If your first instinct is to reach for your phone, check someone else's life, scroll through chaos, or bury yourself under the covers, you're not beginning your day, you're avoiding it. That moment, that fragile, unguarded space where you get to choose how to begin, that's your chance. But if you let your phone dictate your thoughts, if you let social media hijack your attention, then you're not living with intention, you're surviving on autopilot. And people who live on autopilot rarely fly. They stay grounded, trapped in the loop of sameness, wondering why nothing changes while repeating the same weak decisions every morning. There's something powerful, almost sacred, about being awake when the world is still asleep. That time is yours. No emails, no noise, no expectations, just you. That hour is where vision is sharpened, commitment is forged, and your highest self gets to breathe without interruption. When you rise with intention, you step into the role of a creator. You design your day before the world designs it for you. You tell your mind what matters, instead of reacting to what's urgent. Success doesn't come to those who hustle harder at noon. It comes to those who prepare for battle at dawn. It comes to those who understand that every morning is a new contract with their future, and every choice either strengthens or weakens that agreement. Discipline is not about suffering. It's about power. And the most powerful people on the planet are not those who sleep in and sprint through their mornings. They are those who command their time with clarity. When you get up early and move with purpose, your brain follows your lead. You program yourself to operate with conviction, to eliminate distractions, and to move with clarity. But when you start your day rushed, distracted, or unplanned, your brain becomes chaotic, reactive, and overwhelmed. You spend the whole day putting out fires instead of building empires. The truth is, how you treat your morning is how the world will treat your day. If you bring structure, the world responds with order. If you bring chaos, the world reflects confusion. Winners understand the compound power of consistency. They don't just win one morning and expect a lifetime of results. They show up every single day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, because they know that habits are stronger than emotions and commitment is louder than excuses. They get out of bed not because it's comfortable, but because it's necessary. They've wired their identity to the version of themselves who takes action, not the one who waits for motivation. That's the difference. Winners don't negotiate with the alarm clock. They don't lie in bed debating whether they feel like moving. They move. They rise. They show up because they are who they say they are. If you want to change your life, start by changing your morning. Don't chase some massive overhaul or wait for the perfect plan. Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Protect that time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Use it to move your body, to prime your mind, to set your goals, to breathe, to listen, to lead. Because once you master your morning, you create a rhythm of dominance that flows into everything else. Your work, your relationships, your energy, your identity. And before long, the world starts responding differently. Not because it changed, but because you did. You stopped waiting to feel ready. You stopped living by default. You started acting like someone who was born to win. And it all began, not with a big moment, not with applause or permission, but with one quiet, powerful, intentional morning. Clarity is not some magical gift granted to the lucky few. It's not reserved for the elite or the enlightened. Clarity is created. And it's created in the moments when most people are still asleep. When the world is silent and your thoughts are the loudest thing in the room. You don't stumble into a purposeful life. You build it one morning at a time. The truth is, most people walk through life in a fog. They chase distractions, drown in business, and call it ambition. But there's a huge difference between movement and direction. You can work 14 hours a day and still be lost. That's why the morning isn't just for getting up early. It's for getting clear. Without that clarity, all your effort is just noise. Your morning is the only time you truly own. It's before the emails, the meetings, the deadlines, the social pressures. It's the only part of the day not stolen by obligations. And that makes it sacred. In that window, you get to ask the questions that matter. What do I want? Why does it matter? Who am I becoming? These questions aren't for philosophers. They're for warriors. Because if you don't know what you're fighting for, you'll lose to anything that distracts you. That's what most people do. They confuse activity with alignment. But clarity isn't found in hustle. It's found in stillness, in intention, in choosing every day to return to your purpose before the world pulls you away from it. The greatest breakthroughs in life don't come from doing more. They come from understanding why you're doing it. That insight rarely happens in the middle of chaos. It happens in the calm. That's why your morning routine must include time for reflection. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. You need space to think, to journal, to breathe, to align. Because if you don't define your vision, someone else will define it for you. And that someone probably doesn't care about your growth, your peace, or your dreams. When you skip over reflection, you forfeit control of your life. You start reacting instead of creating. And once you're in reactive mode, you're no longer the author. You're just a character in someone else's story. Success is not about running faster. It's about running toward the right thing. And the right direction is only found when your mind is clear and your goals are sharp. When you start your day without clarity, you waste time, energy, and focus chasing the wrong priorities. You get caught in the trap of urgency, always busy, never fulfilled. But when you begin the day with clarity, you lead with strategy. You know what matters. You filter out the noise. You move with intention. Every action has purpose. Every yes is powerful. Every no is aligned. That's what separates high performers from everyone else. It's not that they do more. It's that they do what matters most. And they know what that is because they've taken the time to get clear. If you want clarity, you have to work for it. You have to make it part of your morning ritual. That might mean sitting in silence for 5 minutes. It might mean writing down your top 3 goals. It might mean reviewing your vision, your purpose, your plan. But whatever it looks like, it has to be consistent. You can't expect a clear life with a chaotic mind. And you can't expect a focused day when your first hour is scattered. You have to design your clarity. Build it brick by brick, habit by habit. And it doesn't take hours. It takes intention. The kind of intention that says, I'm not starting my day until I know what I'm aiming for. That mindset alone changes everything. When you begin your morning by creating clarity, you walk into the world with power. You no longer chase approval, success, or recognition. You own your direction. You speak differently, move differently, make decisions from a place of strength, not stress. That kind of energy is rare, and people feel it. You become magnetic, not because you're louder, but because you're clearer. And in a world full of confusion, clarity is your advantage. The best part, it's already inside you. It just needs space to rise. So give it that space. Make it non-negotiable. Because when you choose clarity in the morning, you're not just organizing your thoughts. You're unlocking your next level. Your body is not just a vehicle. It's your power source. And if you don't charge it every morning, don't expect to run at full capacity. Most people underestimate the connection between movement and mindset. They think working out is just about losing weight or building muscle. But this isn't about aesthetics. This is about activating your life force. When you move your body first thing in the morning, you're not just waking up physically. You're waking up mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're sending a message to yourself that says, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm in control. That kind of momentum doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from action. Motion creates emotion. And the right motion creates unstoppable energy. There is a direct link between your physiology and your psychology. That's not theory. It's science. The way you breathe, the way you stand, the way you stretch or push or sweat has a direct impact on your focus, your confidence, your decisions. That's why high achievers don't skip movement in the morning. It's not just a part of their routine. It's a ritual for dominance. Because when your body is engaged, your mind sharpens, blood flows, oxygen increases, neural pathways fire up, and suddenly ideas become clearer, problems feel smaller, and the things that felt overwhelming an hour ago now look like stepping stones. Movement transforms stress into strength. And if you've ever felt stuck, lethargic, or clouded, chances are your body's been begging you to move. This isn't about running.